Well, first, I have a confession to make. The sole reason I started my blog about 5 years ago is because I was completely in love with SEO, anything Google related, keywords. I mean, you name it, I loved it. And because I loved it and because I was kind of good at it too, I lived for it. I could tweak things online and, tweak my content just the right way and all of that. So that's how my blog, trafficgenerationcafe.com, has started. Then very quickly after that, there were a couple of things happened. One of them was Google started changing quite a bit and very rapidly. And the second one is I started realizing that a lot of my readers who come from all kinds of backgrounds, not SEO experts, don't work and not planning on working for SEO companies, not planning on building niche websites. So they felt very much left out of what Google was doing and of search engine traffic period, because they just felt like they did not belong with the search engines. And what I found out by talking to a lot of them was that they started withdrawing themselves from claiming their share of search engine presence whatsoever, because they just figured it's simpler not to do anything. It's simpler to get back to, well, I'm just writing for the reader, really, so I'm focusing on the reader. I'm really just creating this great content. It has nothing to do with search engines because search engines don't pay the bills, my readers do. Just very, very true, and it's a great idea. However, what they're doing by saying that is also cutting themselves. Search engines still do drive the bulk of traffic, for external traffic for most of the websites. So if you're not focusing on search engines at all, that means that you're potentially cutting yourself out from the majority of the traffic that you could be otherwise getting. So I wanted to speak to those people, the solopreneurs who don't necessarily think that they should be doing much for the search engines because the reader is their focus. So I've prepared a bit of, I'm very visual in many ways. So okay, perfect. So again, Anna Hoffman, trafficgenerationcafe.com and trafficology.blueprint.com. And a word about my presentation is going to be very different from what Kelsey just showed you. And one of the reasons for that, and I have to kind of warn you, it's very, very visual. And if I just shut up and let you watch it, you'll probably get the majority of what I'm talking about. And I wasn't going to say that, but Alex kind of brought it up. I am in the middle of creating a product that is all about content repurposing. And that's for those people out there who think that search engine optimization is not for them and they can't get any traffic from it. And as I said, that's just a very wrong mentality for even an average typical business owner who doesn't have the time to learn about search engine traffic. You still will with content repurposing, because when you take a piece of content that you already have, you've already written it, it's sitting on your blog, it's rotting in your archives. But then if you take that piece of content, that blog post, and for instance, you can create a PowerPoint presentation like you will see in a minute when I stop talking so much. You can create that PowerPoint presentation, then share it to all kinds of websites, starting with SlideShare, and then you can embed it on Medium and LinkedIn and Search Engine Watch if they let you. Wouldn't that be great? And all kinds of websites. And what that does is that creates links, it creates exposure, and it creates traffic back. And what you get in return as a byproduct is search engine traffic, because your domain authority is growing as a result of all this content being spread and shared all over the internet. So that's why the presentation you're going to see is the way it is because I actually took, when Alex told me about the what Kelsey and Amel are going to present about, I gave it some thought, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't written anything about SEO in such a long time. What am I going to talk about? Well, lo and behold, I was writing about search engine traffic for my course and for the students that are, it's a pilot course, so it's a private, it's sort of a private launch for now. It's not open to public, but I took the SEO lesson that I was writing to them, and then I repurposed it into this presentation, what we're talking about today. And right now it's sitting on SlideShare, earning the views, the links, and I'm going to also post it on LinkedIn, Medium, and other websites as well. So, much ado about nothing. Let's get on with it. So what I've titled my presentation is Write for Search Engines and Not Readers. And this might come as a shock to a lot of people who just think, you know what, again, the search engines don't pay my bills, my readers do, so I'm going to focus on them. The problem with that is, besides the fact that you won't get any search engine traffic if you don't, cater to the search engines just a little bit. But the problem with that, another problem, is that when you write for your readers, you don't actually write that great of a content. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but just hear me out for a second, okay? So again, when I say something like that to anyone, this is the reaction I get. Really? Are you for real? Because that does not sound right. How can not focusing on the reader be the wrong thing, right? But it is. And if I put it a different way, when you write for the search engines, I hope there are no arachnophobics in the crowd, you also write for the reader a lot better. And I'm going to show you why. Because search engines, believe it or not, if you were to give a search engine a basic reading comprehension test, like my 9-year-old daughter would take at elementary school, right? They would actually fail it. The search engine would fail the test because they can't read. They don't read the way you and I do. They scan and they analyze and they look for words that stand out. And when you hear words that stand out, what do you think of? That's true, keywords. And we all know that search engines and keywords go hand in hand, like peanut butter and jelly, right? Like Batman and Robin, I don't know, cell phone and data plan. And this is one of my favorite cartoons. I hope you'll enjoy it as much as I do. It basically looks like this. When you talk to a dog, you say all kinds of things you want to say it to it, and then all the dog hears is blah, 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 ginger, blah, 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 ginger. That's sort of how the search engine works. When they scan the page, they don't read it per se word for word. They just look for words that are most prominent on the page, that stand out in different ways by being repeated constantly, by how they're highlighted with headings, title tags, those kind of things. So that's what the search engine is looking for. And that's how the search engine figures out very quickly what your page is about. Now imagine if you don't use any keywords and the search engine does not hear ginger, 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 and the dog wouldn't respond, and neither does the search engine. So by getting those words out of content, that's how search engine understands. And I put understands in quotation marks here because, search engines, as smart as they are, they're just not human just yet. They don't comprehend content. They just scan it, they get the words off of it, and they get the general meaning. And that's all that they need to do to categorize content and to index it according to what the search engine figure out the topic of your page is. And guess who else does the same thing? That's true, your reader. And you probably know it because when you go to somebody's page, when you Google something, you just want to get in and out. You want to get the information and you want to get out, unless the content that is presented in front of you is engages you in some way and catches your attention in some way. And that's where I see a lot of content creators fail, because what they think is engaging to the reader is not exactly what's engaging to the reader. And I know a lot of you will be surprised by that, because you definitely think that your reader just completely devours every word you write, you know, and you write those huge text blocks and you go on and on about different jokes and, you know, just step away from the topic for a minute and just tell your reader something funny that you've learned, or off topic, take them back to a history of something, things like that. You know, I don't know what it is you write about, but anyway, we really do hope that our reader gives our content her complete attention, but it really is not true whatsoever. I got this from Jacob Nielsen's usability studies, and this is quite shocking because 78% of your readers scan any new page they can come across. And I don't know why I'm so shocked when I saw it, because I scan all the time. And those who do take time to read only read less than 30% of it. So if you think that you want to focus on readers that actually read your content, then this is a stat you should pay attention to. Even those who think that they're reading are reading only 30% of it or less. So yeah, you see, both your reader and the search engine consume your content in a very, very similar way, by scanning it and quickly looking for words that stand out. And you know where I'm getting to here? Keywords, that's right. And again, for those of you who are listening right now, and you know, as you were listening to Kelsey, and she just gave us a wealth of keyword research information, but you're sitting there thinking, yeah, it doesn't relate to me, I don't need it. Yes, you do, because keywords matter to search engines, because keywords matter to people. It's that simple. You know, keywords are not about search engines. Keywords are all about people. And for that simple reason, keywords really should matter to you, my dear content creator. So, and I'm going to give you an example. Let me introduce you to Betty. And I need to take a quick sip of water. So Betty decides to search for how to fry an egg. She is a brand new housewife, or an aspiring cook. And then Betty finds your content, which is great. Betty scans the page very quickly to make sure that it's really about frying an egg, because that's what she came here to learn. And all of a sudden, Betty does not see how to fry an egg on your page. It just does not jump out at her. And remember, Betty's there for just a couple of seconds to size up your page and make sure that it responds to her search. And if it doesn't, what is Betty going to do, right? She probably will bounce back and search again for a page that's peppered, yes, I know, pun intended, I'm so clever, with her keywords, how to fry an egg, right? Or, I'm sure you've guessed by now, you could help Betty find the answer on your page by adding keywords. That's right, because that's why keywords are so important. When your readers just scan, keywords are the ones that grab their attention, because that's what they were searching for to begin with when they were in Google, most likely, right? So, and not only keywords are important for your content, you have to repeat your keywords repeatedly. And I mean it, you know, you have to say that same keyword again and again and again, so that your reader can follow along your content as she's scanning through it and stay with it. That's how you engage your reader. That's how they keep reading or scan reading. That's, oh, sorry about that. So for instance, you know, going back to Betty's example, if you were to add how to fry an egg to the title of the post, the headings, and of course the body, then Betty would, you know, not end with an egg on her face, which, as my husband told me, is a fun expression. So anyway, so that's how Betty learns to be the next Betty Crocker, possibly, I don't know. But if you use keywords in your content, you certainly help Betty to stay and see that the content is exactly what she was searching for by using keywords. So you see, search engines and content creators really do want the same thing. We all want a happy reader. And that's why when you say that you want to write for the reader, you really should aim to write for the search engines, because when you write for the search engines, you create much better content for people. And there you go. I think I'm going to stop right there.